Have you seen the prices for Innistrad Remastered? Let's find out if it's worth it or not. Okay, let's kick things off, and we're just going to go right into the set EVs, starting with the Play Booster box. Play Booster box is looking around $412 for the full box, but if you look at rares or mythics or bulk stuff, the rares or mythics is $252, and the bulk non-bulk stuff is $360. Going price right now for Play Booster box is $170. This is what the remastered price seems to be. We saw Ravnica Remastered kind of tank a little bit on release, and then has finally climbed its way back up to its starting position. But the Innistrad price seems to, I think it's going to hold a little harder. We may see a little dip upon release, but I think this set is actually going to hold a decent bit better in terms of price. That doesn't mean I'm recommending Play Boosters. I think they've shifted a lot of value out of Play Boosters recently to really want to get you to buy the collector boosters. So... but we'll get into all of that. Looking at collector boosters, this is going for a whopping $340 right now, which is, I think Ravnica came out and it was going for $280, so this is a good $60 higher, and we haven't even hit the release date yet. EV for this is $686. If you're looking at the non-bulk, it's $660, and just rares and mythics, $582. So good chunk of value here. Obviously, most of this is centered in those booster fun things, looking at retro mythics and looking at the poster arts. And we've also got a highly valued serialized and just, alt variant. Edgar Markov is in this set. And whereas we had some okay legendaries and stuff in Ravnica and the Shocklands, which I love, that stuff doesn't get to drive the hype as much as having Emrakul the Promised End or serialized Edgar Markov, the number 8 commander of all time. So yeah, those are the set EVs. Those are the numbers. If that's all you're here for, then great. I hope those numbers help you. Where the set goes from here, I'd say probably going to go up. I think the collector boosters will probably go up. It's more of how much is it going to go up, and if you're going to be able to cover your initial costs for it, if that's something you're looking to do. In terms of opening these, I don't recommend them. If you're trying to play with the Play Boosters, the last couple Innistrad sets have been awful in terms of drafting. I'm hoping this limited is better, but they're not even really pushing it from a limited sense because there's no pre-release events for this. I think they're doing something only at WPN stores, so. Yeah, jury's out on whether or not this is actually going to be a fun set to draft. As I said, I think they're taking most of the value out of Play Boosters, so I don't really recommend that. And collector booster boxes are really stinking expensive, like $340 for a collector booster box of a premium set, but it's all reprinted cards, so it's not like you can't get, cheaper variants of this stuff already. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be opening any of this stuff. If you want to hold on to it for sealed, I think that's okay. But again, $380 is a pretty stiff asking price for something that's essentially just reprints of okay cards. Like, as I said, there's some big hitters in here, which I think they're banking on in fun frames. I like the poster frames. I think they look cool, but, nothing here is really jumping out to me as stuff I really want to buy. So yeah, we're going to move on from the numbers now. I'll tell you about what I'm interested in, and it's super boring. The only cards I really want, because Snapcaster is only coming in a mythic retro, so his price isn't coming down at all, is the slow lands. This is they left out a bunch of stuff, and I'll cover the discrepancies with that in a sec. But the only cards I'm really looking for are the slow lands they reprinted. If they touch the $5 mark, $5 and under, I think these are great duels. They're basically all upside, because they can come in on turn 3 and they're untapped. Other than that, they're not particularly compelling. I think, as I said, if it's under $5, I like these in a deck. Otherwise, I'm not really running them. If it's a high power deck and you don't have room for them, that makes total sense. But if you're trying to play on a budget, snag these for under $5. I think they're solid. So that's all I'm really looking for out of this set. The issues some people have raised, and I think they are valid, is that value-wise, there's just, while we've covered that the EV is going to be high, the actual number of cards is fairly limited. If you're looking at just the base level cards, which I think is what we should focus on, because that's mostly what you're going to open. Obviously, there's plenty of booster fun in there, especially if you open collector stuff. But just looking at base level cards, there are only 11 cards that are over $10 in this set if you're just looking at base level copies, and there's only 6 cards over 15. that is insanely small when it comes to variants. So the only thing really dragging EV out of the mud here is Emrakul and Edgar Markov. The most rest of these cards are about 10 to 20 bucks. Those Emrakul's like 40 and Edgar is like 80. So aside hitting one of those, it's pretty low that you're going to get your money back, especially with the prices as high as they are right now. This could have been helped out if they included some actual Innistrad cards that needed reprints. It would have been great if we got an Exquisite Blood reprint. Cavern of Souls is missing. Even stuff like Tox for a lot of the new set. Parallel Lives is a Timmy card people always love to see. Yeah, so 5 cards right there that definitely would have been great includes in a remaster set, the premium product where you're supposed to be putting this stuff to keep the reprint equity high but still give us some of these cards again. All of those were left out, and instead we've got some cards from not Innistrad, notably like Mass Hysteria, which, is fine, but not really what people were looking for in Innistrad Remastered. So, maybe it's to make the draft format better. Again, jury's out on whether or not that's true. I'm not super thrilled about this set. Again, EVs are high. It's still selling. I think it's really just notable legendaries in retro frame. People are excited about, more so than maybe the Shocklands. But overall, I think it's kind of just a pretty mid set. Certainly, I'm not going to be paying, even if I thought it, even if I do think this set is going to eventually go up, I'm not paying $340 for Innistrad, because if the set crashes and doesn't do that well, I'm going to be left holding the bag of the plane that I hate the most, which is not cool. I'd rather hold the Ravnica bag. Like, Ravnica could go to 0 and I wouldn't mind, because I'll just open it, because I like Shocklands and I like the guilds and stuff. We don't talk about murders or any of that silly murder mystery crap where a tree killed people. Overall, that's just Innistrad Remastered. Values seem decent. EVs seem decent. Will it go up or down? Probably the collector boosters will climb slowly, but they're already starting in a super high place, so I don't know how much margin is left there for you. I think the play boosters are mid, and I think they're just going to continue to get mid. This is the last time we're getting 36 play boosters in a box. When we get Aether Drift, it's going to 30, so we're definitely just scooping a whole bunch of value out of that, because even though Wizards said that, hey, the price is going to come down on play boosters, I doubt that, because I've just gone to stores and Foundations is supposed to be like a slightly cheaper play booster than Bloomburrow or any of the other standard sets, and I go to Target or whoever and they're still selling them for the same price. So MSRP doesn't really mean anything. In terms of Innistrad Remastered, maybe the draft is super fun, but it doesn't matter, because they're not going to fire a ton of events for this, because it's way too expensive. People want to draft when it's $170 for a play booster, so they got to spend like $40 to draft this thing. Yeah, no one's going to do that. So even if it's super fun, people probably won't, and that sucks. Oh well. Collector boosters are already starting way too high, so not a ton of margin there. Kind of just mid, kind of just upsetting, and I think everyone's just excited to get to the next set, which is Aether Drift. Yeah, sorry this video is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. Again, it's probably a little biased because I also just don't like Innistrad at all. So, I'm glad we're just gonna move through it quickly and on to Aether Drift, so I can make more Mach 5 memes and wacky racers and anything that's just dumb. I'm putting goggles on my boggles. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.